Hi, this is the beginning of class size number 2. After you launch your Android Studio IDE, the Android Studio included in there is the Android SDK that's also installed on it, and you get this interface that looks like this. So we're going to start with let me walk you through what an IDE is. An IDE is basically a text editor where you actually write your code. It brings in your workspace or workbench that you will hear from an Eclipse, but it has to create what's called the files for you to actually publish to the Google Store with it as well. Anyways, let's start with new project for me. This is the new SewerFox one with it, and I'd like for you to pick phone and tablets for this right now with it. As you can see, there are other options on here as well, but a lot of times on these things there are other options on here, and I don't want to actually belabor the rest of this. We will get into more details and a lot of this stuff with. But your first exercise is to actually create a workspace to have it for you to get a whole what's called a hello world. And anything that you do in any programming language, when you get out there and you try your first workspace with it, you always run what's called the notorious hello world. Make sure all the files are there, your machine compiles okay, no errors, anything like that with it as well. So that's always the famous hello world, the first compilation with this. So we're going to pick phone and tablets. I'd like for you to pick empty activities for now. Just pick an empty activities for right now with it. Click on next. I'm going to walk you through this. I'd like for you to call this thing hello world, and exact spelling is what I would like for you to do it. Uppercase H and uppercase the W, one word. Don't put any spaces in there. Don't be funny and put underscore or a happy face. Or just exact spelling is what I ask you to do with it as well. Hello world. And if you could, let's do V for version. Let's do a version VR version 1. I'm going to lowercase that VR, and I'm going to have 1. Everything is connected as one word. Just uppercase the H, uppercase the W, and that's how it looks like right now with it. The package name, just leave it the way how it is, com.dow or your name, whatever you install it, that's okay. The location we're putting this is it creates it for you on the C drive, okay, and this is by default. I would recommend you keep this, or you have this on your be consistent where you're going to store this for the rest of the semester with it as well. So if you don't know where this path is stored, you're in trouble. So make sure you know it's under user, your name of your computer. For my case, it's called Dan with it. Yours is going to be your name or whoever computer that you have, and it's under Android Studio Project. You notice that there is no spaces or any special characters in the file directory name. Of course, our project name is hello world, one word, short for version 1. Okay, if you can please do that. Keep this as Java. I like for us to do Java, not Kotlin with it, just Java for me, please. Now, this is very important. This next minimum SDK that you select here, this is very important. There's a lot of SDKs minimum, which is software development kit. It has lots and lots of new operating systems out there with it, and I just want to give you some thoughts on. It defaults to Android 6.0 as the Jelly Bean. But more important, just you notice it says 84.9% of the device will work on this thing. So here's what I would like for you to do. Make sure you can go in and kind of play with this a little bit. This is the Android 6.0. The lowest common denominator, let me just put the lowest one on here, is the Jelly Bean one, which is the API for 16. 4.1 is the Jelly Bean one, and that's the oldest one you could so call, or you can do the API 31 Android 12, and you notice that it's less than 1%. So the list goes on, and my point in saying this is I always like to pick something in the middle with it, because these are generations of Android phones that are out there with it. I always like to do something like Lollipop or Lollipop 5.1, either one of them, somewhere you like to be in the mid 90s with it, and that will give you the majority of phones that's working out there right now. Same analogy is that, you know, the most recent one at the time doing of this video right now, iPhone 13 is the newest one, right? But not everybody has iPhone 13 right now, so they run a gamut of iPhone 10, iPhone 8, as far as up to iPhone 13. So you want to pick a sweet spot. My sweet spot is probably iPhone 11 or 10 is where a lot of the users are in, and we're in the user right now with it. So with Android development, I recommend somewhere in the middle, but you want to score somewhere like 94% of the devices are right now with it. Again, this operating system consistently updates with it as well. So I like for you to pick, you know, somewhere it's 94%. Pick the lollipop. You know, somewhere, you know, it's up to you. If you do this, see, it drops down the newer operating system with it, or even, you know, somewhere. I recommend the lollipop, the Android 5.0 with it. Now, one of the things that if you check this use legacy Android support files with it. Well, I had you install what's called Cradle in there, right? And one of the things that Cradle does, it allows you to import in old files in the past with it as well. So that's what Gradle does with it. It basically imports in from Eclipse very smoothly as well with it. So that's what I like for you to do is keep with whatever I have right here. If you look at the setting right now, you know, make sure you know where your source is, the name of the project, and the location where you want to solve this thing with it as well. And pick somewhere an operating system that's a minimum SDK, meaning a simulator. In other words, we're going to run is the emulator. That's going to be, you don't need a device for this. It's going to give you an emulator for what the device you're going to build it for. So once you're done with this, click on finish, and it takes a few seconds. All right, that's all right. It's going to build this to create this for you. All right, so you have a few seconds. I want to pause the recording for the time being. All right, just hold on. So let me point out something really quick down here at the bottom. If you look, do you see where my cursor is hovering over the show all? And it's building all these files for you. Is taking place with it as well. You can click on it, shows it all. But here we are. We are inside of the IDE, the files that's creating for you. It's still running. All right, getting the daemon started successfully with it as well. So if you can bear with me, I'm going to pause the computer, pause my recording page, and let this thing build completely with it. I'll check back within about a minute or so. Okay, so hold on. Okay, so once this is all set up, you should have, let me explain the layout for this a little bit so you can see what's going on with it. If you look on the left hand side over here, you see this file says main activity. It doesn't have a .java, but you can see the main activity file. It looks like this. And if you never had any Java programming or any programming classes before, just bear with me in this right now with it. Think of this as the main activity is the front door to your code, to your project with it. This is the entrance point to your project. So when you compile, the compiler needs to find where to enter is the first file to enter into your project. So I'm going to call this the front entryway, okay, is the main activity file, .java. Once you inside of this right here, you're going to see a lot of the stuff that I just clicked on that little plus and expanded. Imports means that there are preprocessor files that are already bringing in. So there are two imports that the bundle that it pulls in from the other files into as well. There's, you know, like I said, there's everything is just by default on this. You haven't typed anything at this time. The main function class is another word for function. Public class main activity extends app combat activity with it. This is the main function. You can think of it like that. All right. So right now, okay, just bear with me. At the override protection of the void, you're going to understand all of this as the course evolves in this as well. Just take my word for it right now. But we need to do some configuration of the actual file itself. All right, so with the editor, so I like for you to go to Tools and come down and find Sdk Manager for me. Sdk Manager, click on it. It opens up this. Make sure you have the Android SDK. So by default, I told you we're going to collect some of that lollipop files with it as well. And this is kind of like the sweet spot right now with it, right? So keep this on there as well. This is just SDK platform. If you come over here and click on the SDK tools for me, please click on that. Make sure everything's by default, right? So the two checkbox is the Android SDK platform tools. That's one that's installed already. The second one we're gonna do in a second here is the Intel x86 emulator accelerator. That's also installed as well. The third one I like for you, it has a hyphen on the top. It says Android SDK build tool 32 RC1. I would like for you to check that for me. All right, just make a check, and then you come over to the left-hand side over here. Okay, so we're gonna download this in a second. Okay, so we're gonna update that. So this is the only change I want you to do in this one. There's two tools that we need. There's the platform tool, and then the compiling tool is the build tools in this thing. Right? This used to have a hyphen in it. I just checked it off, and it's gonna download. It's gonna update. Make sure you connect to the internet. You can click apply to this thing. So it's gonna take a few seconds. You're gonna read the EULA on this thing. You're going to actually click on accept right down here. Click on next. Just take a second. It's going to update and install this thing. All right. So I'm going to pause the recording screen, my recorder right now. So it updated, installed the latest package that I want installed in here with it, and I'm going to click on finish. All right. So I want, again, let me reiterate, I'm under the SDK tool. I would like to update the Android SDK build tool 32RC1. That's one. The second one is the Android SDK platform tools with it. And the third one is the emulator accelerator with it as well. So make sure you have these things installed. The other one I like for you to update as well is the Android emulator with this. Just do the regular emulator for me. There's this one. This is the fourth one right now. Is the Android emulator with this thing. So if you click on it, hit on apply, and you're going to agree to download with the emulator version with it. That's okay. Give it a second. It should be fast. The Android emulator has the latest Android operating system, all this phones that's coming out with Android system with it as well. So it just helps you update a lot of the files that's downloading from all the stuff with it. That's okay. I want to pause my recording right now. Now, so just to reiterate, you got your build tool, you got your emulator, Android emulator, you got your Android SDK platform tool, and of course by default is the emulator accelerator HAXM is installed as well. Once you have all of this for me, if you can please click on the OK with it, and we're back to the main screen that you have right here. I want to pause this. I'm going to stop this because it's too long.